People's Court.
Powerful but slow-moving Hurricane George slams the Gulf Coast. This unusual storm roars ashore with high winds, drenching rain, and a strong storm surge. From Louisiana to the Florida Panhandle, floods, damage, and no electricity for hundreds of thousands.
This is the CBS Evening News. With Dan Rather reporting tonight from Pascagoula, Mississippi.
Good evening, and this is your hurricane. This is Beachfront Drive, Pascagoula, Mississippi. Not far off the historic old Spanish Trail, which later became Highway 90. It's like this all up and down the Gulf Coast tonight. The Gulf continues to smash in. The rains pound and the wind howls. This big water-filled hurricane is moving excruciatingly slowly. It's practically stalled this evening after moving inland. It has pierced inland. Some sections of the region are expected to get up to 24 inches, 2 feet of rain before it's over. Indeed, some reportedly already have. A wide section of the deep south and the mid-south either has been affected or will be affected. And still, the hurricane keeps coming. The eye came in Biloxi, just down the road. We're going to show that to you later in the broadcast. But it didn't come next door in Pascagoula. Here, it started last night. It's been unrelenting all day and now enters its second night. Hardest hit area from roughly Gulfport, Mississippi, through Biloxi, Pascagoula, and on to Mobile, Alabama. Mobile has been especially hard hit by the water. CBS News correspondent Byron Pitts is there.
Dan, Hurricane George dropped 20 inches of rain here last night, 10 more today, and the forecast calls for 10 more inches tomorrow. That river behind me, that's Government Street in the heart of downtown Mobile. Tonight, this city by the bay is now part of the bay. George blew into Mobile well past midnight. 10 to 12-foot waves pushed the bay past City Hall, through the convention center, and in and over vehicles parked downtown.
Right now, my biggest concern is the storm surge and the people that have been affected in the low-lying areas.
By midday, it looked like the county was underwater. George didn't simply soak Mobile, he shook it.
It sounded like the roof was going to come off last night. Really? It's getting real rough outside.
Homes were damaged, boats sank, men really did appear to walk on water.
Well, it was a rough night, but we made it.
Corrine Willis and her husband Jim decided to ride out George at home last night. Today, they both regret it.
All night long, this wind pounded like this, and these limbs are falling around here. It's a little scary.
The wind in Mobile was dramatic, but it was the water, the flood waters, that caused the serious damage here. County officials estimate the damage here could exceed $10 million. Dan?
Thanks, Byron. Back here in Pascagoula, I've walked up on the worst of the water, right at the water's edge, and the worst of the wind sound to report that the center of the storm came ashore this morning just after 5 a.m. Eastern Time. First, the great wind and water, followed by the quiet of the eye. Let me take you now inside the eye of the storm. Now, let me show you by videotape what was happening an hour and a half to 2 hours ago right in this area of Biloxi, Mississippi. Wind-driven rain parallel to the ground. The ocean furious at that time. Then the calm of the interior of the storm, the eye of the storm, about which there's such a misconception. You know, people believe that the phrase eye of the storm means there's great fury. It's just the opposite. Great peace descends. The eye, because this is a very slow-moving storm, is taking the eye a long time to skirt along the edge of the Gulf Coast. Virtually no rain, little bit of rain. We haven't seen any stars up above, which you sometimes do in the calm of the storm. After hovering more than 4 hours, the eye finally moved on, and the hurricane's raw fury returned. Biloxi was again under noisy siege. CBS News correspondent John Roberts has been traveling all day what amounts to a highway of heartache, Highway 90, that hugs the coastline. he found misery in the fast lane.
With the rain still coming down in Gulfport, Mississippi, Jim Halliday was already knee-deep in water.
It's getting a little deep here, but the drain's all clogged up with all types of debris.
One man against a rising flood from a hurricane that's refused to leave.
The eye is stuck. I mean, this is the eye, sort of. We're stuck in it right now. If it doesn't move, we may have some problems.
Up and down the coast, there are the signatures of this storm, a storm that made up in sheer tenacity what it lacked in power. People along these shores have seen plenty of storms, but most have hit hard, then moved on quickly. 14 hours after George hit, the wind is still blowing hurricane strength, the rain still coming down in a torrent.
So the worst is over.
Arva Hopkins has lived in Gulfport since 1928 and rode out every hurricane that's come through.
In 1947, we had one that's about like this, but it came and left in a hurry. This thing lingers.
Well, there was a two-level boathouse here.
In Biloxi, the Mississippi town directly in the crosshairs of George's eye, Gene Weissman watched as half of Biloxi Bay ended up in his front yard.
I watched the boat come in the front yard. It started down there and it just bounced all the way down here and finally locked up on the corner here.
About the same time, one of the 70-foot pine trees next to the house came crashing down.
My husband kept making me move from the front bedroom to the back. To
get away from the tree?
To get away from the tree.
After all the anticipation, all the anxiety about where it would go, George has made its mark on the Gulf Coast and just about worn out its welcome. John Roberts, CBS News, Biloxi, Mississippi.
Now, as night falls, the hurricane has officially been downgraded to a tropical storm. Hard to tell that here right along the coast, but it has been. Let's go to Norcross, our man in Miami at the CBS Hurricane Center in Miami. Good evening, and where does it go from here?
All right, Dan, I think what's going to happen here overnight, you've got two things going here. One is, first of all, on the radar, is we're going to continue to get these fabulous rain amounts, especially just to your east. You're right there, and especially in the area from Alabama over into the Florida Panhandle. The second thing is these southerly winds coming off the Gulf are not going to allow that water that's been pushed inland to recede very quickly, with this wind continuing to blow there all the way through tomorrow and probably into Wednesday as well, soaking the ground. So even though the winds are down just a little bit, that's going to mean trees are going to be easy to fall as everything is so incredibly, incredibly wet. Dan?
Brian Norcross at our Hurricane Center in Miami. Now, this hurricane, just now downgraded to a tropical storm, has forced hundreds of thousands of people either to flee or to go into shelters. Can you imagine what it would be like if you were with your children, say, in a shelter and the roof came off? We'll take you into such a situation when our special hurricane edition of the CBS Evening News continues in a moment.
With days-in hotels in over 1,800 cities and towns, there's bound to be one where you're headed. You can pretty much bet on it. Days in. There you go.
Keep it going. Okay, that's enough. Put your stick down.
Bayer relieves the inflammation that can cause joint pain and stiffness. Tylenol can't. And taken regularly, only Bayer can help save your life by reducing the risk of another heart attack. Ask your doctor.
Okay, boys, let's play nice. Come on, come on.
Bayer, powerful pain relief and so much more. Also try Extra Strength Bayer PM, the only nighttime aspirin.
What I look for in denture adhesive is something that's strong. It has to be real strong.
Watch. Super Polygrip has improved holding power.
That's the kind of strength and holding power I'm looking for. Improved Super Polygrip holds a lot better.
This is Max. He's a mighty dog. Pound for pound, he uses more energy than most dogs twice his size. That's why he gets new Mighty Dog carved beef and gravy with the perfect balance of nutrients, tender slices and savory gravy to give Max all the energy he needs. It'll make your dog a mighty dog. New Mighty Dog carved beef and carved beef with pasta. Mighty Dog from Friskies.
From deep in Louisiana all the way over to the Florida Panhandle, shelters and the people in them were a great part of this story. CBS News correspondent Jim Axelrod has the story of a safe haven that was not heaven.
They are cold, wet, and tired. Victims of Hurricane George who are indoors tonight, but barely sheltered.
The conditions are deplorable. There's no generators, no electricity, the toilets aren't working.
400 people first fled to this gym in Gaucher, Mississippi last night.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Then George tore off the roof.
I was real scared. I was scared the roof was fixing to fall in on us.
408 people and running out of all supplies.
Red Cross volunteer Edwina Grimsley was then forced to cram families into a building not much better than the gym. No power, wet floors, a roof opening right to the storm.
It could be worse. We could have all lost our lives last night.
I got a diabetic that was going to get some insulin. I found some for her.
The paramedics are overwhelmed. This little girl needs help for her cystic fibrosis.
She couldn't have it last night because the power went off.
How important is the treatment?
She can die.
Making a bad situation even worse. There's not nearly enough food, not enough baby formula or milk or bread. What little food people brought with them, they've pooled. But this isn't enough to even get through dinner.
We don't have any more donuts. You want this?
Ma'am, what are you going to do when dinner time rolls around?
I'm right.
Hopelessness is festering in these hallways, and even the Red Cross seems outmatched.
Red Cross can't even bring us any food. What we have here is what we got now to go on for the next 14 hours, we were told this morning.
In Gaucher tonight, mothers who may not be able to feed their children will just have to hold them a little closer. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, Gaucher, Mississippi.
There are 2 hurricane-related deaths reported in Louisiana, including 1 in New Orleans. Now, New Orleans suffered some damage, but the Crescent City was spared the direct hits many were fearing. The greatest problem for New Orleans was the loss of electrical power. And we'll have more coverage of this still dangerous storm a little later in the broadcast, but next up will be Bob Schieffer in New York with some of the rest of the day's news as the CBS Evening News rolls on.
For the 14 million women who worry about light to moderate bladder control, now there's new Double Protection Compose Panty and Pad system. The Compose Panty and Pad fit together for double protection. There's a super absorbent disposable pad, but the real difference is the separate washable panty. It gives you double protection with a quilted panel that won't let wetness through. So why worry? Get double protection with Double Protection Compose. Protection that goes beyond the pad.
Before you do this or this or this, you want to have this and this and this.
You'd be surprised how much of our technology goes into your day.
So for this or this or this.
We're Siemens.
We can do that.
I should have used Preparation H.
If you had, you wouldn't be suffering now. Preparation H helps stop itch and further irritation with a soothing layer of protection.
I should have used Preparation H.
Stops itch, stops irritation.
Movies have taken us places beyond our imagination. Now you can take those movies to places you never thought possible. Introducing the Silhouette Premier from Oldsmobile. The first minivan with a video entertainment system built right in. It gives motion pictures a whole new meaning. The Silhouette Premier. Only from Oldsmobile.
Tonight on News Channel 5 at 6, this 98-year-old woman fought back when she was targeted for robbery. We'll tell you her amazing story at 6.
And good evening from back here where it's dry. The House Judiciary Committee will begin hearings next Monday on whether to formally begin an impeachment inquiry. Chairman Henry Hyde told reporters today the agenda will not be complicated.
The question facing the committee is quite simple, really. Do the allegations against the president merit further investigation? Should we inquire further into these allegations or refuse to take a closer look and just shut down? That's the issue.
Hyde also said that later this week the committee will make public more of the information turned over to Congress by independent counsel Ken Starr. At the White House today, officials were happy to keep the focus on other matters as the president met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat. They are trying to get Middle East peace talks going again, and in the White House view, it didn't go badly today. More on that now from White House correspondent Scott Pelley. Scott?
Bob, this is the first time in a year and a half there's been any progress in Middle East peace. Arafat and Netanyahu were in the United States for a meeting at the United Nations, and when Israel began to show some flexibility, Mr. Clinton agreed to a summit overnight.
There has been a significant narrowing of the gaps between the two parties across a wide range of issues. I think also, to be candid, there is still a substantial amount of work to be done until a comprehensive agreement can be reached.
It had been a year since Netanyahu and Arafat had been in the same room. Now they've met twice in 24 hours. Netanyahu broke the ice, agreeing to a U.S. demand to hand over 13% more of the West Bank to Arafat.
I can't tell you that we agree on everything. That would not be true, but I can tell you we agreed on quite a few things. And so that at least is a good start.
But only a start. The White House said no part of the deal will be done unless all issues are resolved. The progress is slight. It was a far cry from the days when a president called a Mideast summit to close a major agreement.
I thought it was a good idea because they were making some progress, and I think having the president there pushing, prodding, suggesting, and basically telling them to get on with the work.
Late today, Arafat helped things along with a concession at the United Nations. He talked about independence, but he did not declare it.
This independent Palestinian state must be established as an embodiment of the right of our people to self-determination.
With cooperation in the air, the president has invited Netanyahu and Arafat back to Washington in mid-October for days of marathon bargaining. Bob?
Scott, run through us for us quickly a couple of things they still haven't reached agreement on.
Well, there are quite a few, Bob, but for example, the Israelis would like the Palestinian authorities to collect weapons from radical groups and keep jailed terrorists in jail. The Palestinians, for their part, would like the Israelis to stop building settlements without negotiating them first.
Okay, Scott Pelley at the White House. Attorney General Janet Reno reported for work at the Justice Department today after she spent the night at a local hospital. Doctors said she was fine and was probably just fatigued when she had a fainting spell at a Sunday church service. Prime Minister of Serbia said today that peace reigns in Kosovo and Serbian forces are ending their crackdown there on ethnic Albanian rebels. But new fighting was reported later with dozens of rebels killed. The conflicting signals come as NATO is threatening airstrikes against Serbia unless it calls a truce and opens peace talks with the Kosovo rebels. Germany has a new leader tonight, and Europe has a new political landscape, minus one of its biggest movers and shakers. CBS News senior European correspondent Tom Fenton has our report.
Germany's new leader, Gerhard Schroeder, ran a slick campaign that was short on specifics. Like Bill Clinton in America and Tony Blair in Britain, Schroeder has moved from the left to the middle of the road, and in the process has ousted Chancellor Helmut Kohl, Europe's longest-serving leader. John Kornblum, the American ambassador, watched the election closely and sees the result as a changing of the guard rather than a change of policy.
This is a country which is incremental. It progresses very steadily, but rarely rapidly. It changes its views, but rarely rapidly. And so I don't expect very much change at all, to tell you the truth.
Unfortunately, one thing that never changes in this country is the far right. The neo-Nazis put up candidates across the country. Not one got a seat, but the far right has an ally in Germany's economic stagnation.
This has to do with unemployment, but not only with unemployment. And we have to be very much on the watch. We cannot allow these things to grow. And I'm worried that they could grow.
Chancellor Kohl's opponent in this election was the economy. His great legacy, the reunification of Germany after the fall of the Berlin Wall, brought Germany's once booming economy to a halt. The unemployment rate exceeds 10% and almost 20% in eastern Germany, and that cost Kohl his job. Helmut Kohl towered over Germany for 16 years. He'll be remembered as a great statesman, the man who reunified Germany and championed the cause of European Union. But he was also the politician who didn't know when to retire. Tom Fenton, CBS News, Bonn.
Most of the world financial markets closed higher today on expectation that the U.S. Federal Reserve will cut interest rates when it meets tomorrow. On Wall Street, the Dow Industrials gained 80 points.
Trains now go 300 miles an hour. Mail, 3,000 miles a second. Athletes continually break records. So how come pain relief isn't faster? Introducing Advil Liquid Gels, the first and only pain reliever in a faster-acting liquid-filled capsule that's gentle on your stomach. On tough pain, Advil Liquid Gels are stronger and faster than extra-strength Tylenol. Headaches to muscle aches. New Advil Liquid Gels. Advanced medicine for pain. Just got faster.
Some people call it retirement planning. I think of this as future construction. Year by year, block by block, until...
It's our dream house.
Beautiful. But I was hoping we could afford to travel. This plan can help make it happen. We can even make sure you've got worry-free income for life.
AXA, dynamic vision, equitable, a trusted resource. Call us. Equitable is a member of the global AXA group.
So how is my pot roast?
Almost as good as Aunt Rosie's.
Well, it should be. It's her recipe.
Oh.
Let's call her.
But it's long distance. Wouldn't that be expensive?
Not if you dial 10-10-321 first. Saves a ton.
How's it work?
Just dial 10-10-321, then 1, then Aunt Rosie's number.
Is it okay if we all say hello?
Sure. Talk away. 10-10-321 is a real bargain. All my calls over 20 minutes are half price.
Let's pass that phone around. Rosie, does this smell familiar?
Who doesn't want to save 50%?
Ah, the good old days of supermarket shopping. When nothing stood between you and your next meal. Nothing. But today, there are materials that help lock out harmful contaminants and reduce spoilage, keeping us safe and the food we eat fresh. Plastics make it possible. So now, the rest is history.
Blown away, swept away. What does it take to survive nature's fury?
My house. Oh, this is my house.
An all-new 48 Hours, Thursday.
The Major League Baseball season goes into extra innings tonight with the Cubs and the Giants in a one-game playoff for the National League wild card. Whatever happens in the playoffs and the World Series, the summer of '98 will go down as the year of an amazing comeback for the national pastime. Bob McNamara reports.
Swing!
What a season.
Look at there! Look at there! Look at there!
It was baseball for the ages.
What a baseball moment this is.
The summer when two men chased the most magical record in American sports, and the country was better for it.
It feels like every day's the 4th of July. It's like decency and common sense and goodness is making a comeback thanks to these two guys.
Fastball hit deep to right.
For generations, baseball has been a game of ghosts. Its legends either buried or bronzed. But this year in Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, and many others, the game found something that had been missing for decades. Baseball finally had players on the field who were legends in their own time.
Swing and get up, baby, get up, get up, get up. Home run.
This was baseball without baggage, a season of streaks and strikeouts.
Struck him out.
Randy Johnson's flaming fastball. Ken Griffey Jr.'s catches on the fly.
Reaches out. Holy smoke.
David Wells' perfect game. It was a year of record wins and a graceful record end. This season, fans filled even the cheap seats and saw family values on the field. An embrace between father and son.
For me, everything that I've been doing is not for me, it is for my mother.
A message for a faraway mom.
Mr. McGwire, I think I have something that belongs to you.
For more than a century, America has given to baseball. This summer, baseball gave something wonderful back. Bob McNamara, CBS News, St. Louis.
That's it from here. Next up, Dan Rather with a look ahead at what Hurricane George still has in store.
Morning seems so much brighter after a good night's sleep. That's why I love my Tylenol PM. Sometimes I have trouble sleeping. I used to worry about taking something. How would I feel in the morning? And then I tried Tylenol PM. It stops my pain and helps me sleep. So in the morning, I'm rested, refreshed, ready to make the most of my day.
Rest easy. It's Tylenol PM.
I know a place.
This is not a country for wimps. We invented the cowboy, the jawbreaker, and the quarterback blitz.
I'll take you there.
We are rough on our cars. So get a Chevy Malibu. It'll go up to 100,000 miles before its first scheduled tune-up. Transmission fluid, 100,000 miles. Engine coolant, 5 years or 150,000 miles. We're talking tough. The car you knew America could build. The Chevy Malibu.
I'll take you there. Oh.
Looking vibrant is reserved for the very young. Do you believe that? In Europe, women like us have tested a breakthrough concept in skincare. New Pro-Vital from Oil of Olay.
The healthy radiance feels like it's coming back.
These products are created especially for maturing skin. Formulas that can immediately change the look of the skin. Now Pro-Vital from Oil of Olay is available in the U.S.
I love the feel of my skin again.
New Pro-Vital from Oil of Olay. Proven to help you look revitalized.
They did it. Now there's an easy, great-tasting way to stay regular. And with a low-fat diet, it helps your cholesterol and may even reduce your risk of heart disease. It's Fiberol, the 6th natural fiber supplement, plus vitamins and minerals. Fiberol, fiber for your life.
With Days Inn hotels in over 1,800 cities and towns, you never think about where to stay. You just go with the flow. Days Inn. There you go.
Back now in Pascagoula, Mississippi, in the hurricane hot zone. To update this story and look ahead, George remains a dangerous storm. Think water. After lashing ashore on the Gulf Coast near Biloxi with steady top winds of 105 to 110 miles an hour, the hurricane began dumping torrential rains, and it's still doing that. What happens during the next 24 hours? We go now to one of the world's hurricane experts, Dr. Neil Frank, at CBS affiliate KHOU in Houston. Dr. Frank, what about it?
Well, Dan, that river of air that was moving the storm along dried up just as the center reached the coastline, and now the storm is spinning around like a top with no sense of direction. It's not going anywhere fast, and that raises the possibility of more rain, heavy rain, another 15 to 20 inches on top of areas that have already received 20 inches of rain, Dan.
If it's anywhere near that, it's going to be big trouble for a wide area. Nature's fury, part of our world tonight. For more on the still developing storm story, stay tuned to this CBS station and catch CBS This Morning tomorrow. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting from Pascagoula, Mississippi. Good night.
Money in your pocket? They're talking lower interest rates. So how much extra cash will it mean to you? The story tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
Experience CBS News.
It's been a way of life for Metro students for dozens of years, but now many kids will have a shorter ride to school.
I was sitting in there, and he knocked on my door, and I thought I'd open it enough to know what it wanted, and he just pushed me out of the way.
A 98-year-old grandmother comes face to face with a would-be robber. Police say he was posing as a water inspector.
I'm Dan McDonald live at the stadium site. Do you want to guess what the new Oilers' new name will be? Do you want to go to the Super Bowl? We'll tell you how you may be able to do both coming up later in this newscast.